What it do, Internet? David Baugh here, and today is vlog number 154, and I figured that today is a good day to go into a crash course in video editing. Now, video editing is obviously as complicated or as simple as you make it, and oftentimes it's a lifelong pursuit, but the tools are really not that difficult, and I think that you can learn a lot of the basic concepts pretty quickly, and then it's just figuring out how you want to use those things specifically. But before we get too far into this, let's roll that shit, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, as long as it looks good for the internet. Now, different programs are going to do things slightly differently. I'm in Final Cut Pro here today, but I'm certified in Premiere, I'm certified in After Effects, all those other different applications. Most, if not all, of this information should transfer to whatever program you're doing. It may just have a little bit different verbiage for you, but in your editing application, you have a browser where you hold your clips. Viewers are where you view things. Obvious. Effects are on the side, and your timeline is where the magic happens, ladies and gentlemen. An in point marks the start of your selection, and out point marks the end of your selection within a given clip, so that you can move those things down into the timeline. A straight cut is where the audio and the video line up perfectly. A J cut is where the audio from the second clip leads over into the end of the other clip, so that your audio starts before the video starts on the next clip. An L cut is the same thing, but the opposite way around. A star wipe speaks for itself. Those things are dope. Making cuts and stuff like these on action is generally always going to be favored. This is a keyframe. A keyframe can be used to automate an action over time in your timeline. So if you put a keyframe on the transformation parameters to there, and then I go forward in the timeline and put another keyframe where it moves to a different place, then the computer is going to interpret how that thing should move from point A to point B, given the time that you have set for it. There are keyframes for almost everything, and you can have just about as many as you want. This is a title. Keyframes can be used to add motion to that, and then it's a motion graphic. Video without some sort of music or sound is weird, so put something down there. Music is great, but you should also have sound effects to sweeten your audio, especially on larger projects. Dialogue should hit right around here on the audio levels. Music should be right around here, and sound effects should be layered so that they sound appropriate given the action in the scene. Don't let those things peak, because it generally sounds awful. Voiceover is when the video is playing, but there is no sound coming from the clip, and there is narration on top of that video. Speed ramp is when you speed up or you slow down the clip for effect. This is a vector scope, which shows you how accurately your colors are presenting. A histogram shows the value of light in your image. If you are going outside of these lines here, then you're clipping, and that might not be desirable for your given situation. When you have a clip that is particularly complicated and a computer can't play it right away, then you have to render those files, which is basically the computer deciding every frame all the way through and how it's going to be on the end, and it sort of compresses it down into one file that it knows how to play more easily. Different computers and different programs are going to handle rendering a little bit differently. That's generally what it involves, and you can't really do too much while you're rendering, generally speaking. It's going to slow down the computer quite a bit. Exporting is when you are completely done with your video and you're ready to put it out into a file type. Files are stored in codecs. Codecs are the bane of everyone's existence, but you do sort of sound smart when you know what they are. Once you're done with that, there are revisions, which is where you would make changes into the cut there. That's generally something that somebody's going to tell you they want this thing to be different. Picture lock means that you have locked down the video aspect of the movie, and only audio and color are going to be changed from there. Those are generally the last steps in your process. When you're done, that would be a final cut. Now, it's important to note that you are never going to retain every bit of this information in one sitting. It's oftentimes a lifelong pursuit that you must master. Watch it over and over again if you have to, but more importantly, just have fun with it and cut some stuff together. What might be wrong for one project could be exactly what another one is needed, and there is an infinite amount of people that are making content, and you probably fit within some level of production, either somebody that's just starting out and needs an editor that's just starting out so you can learn together, or, you know, maybe you're really good and you're on the higher end of the scale. There's generally money that could be had at any level that you're at, depending on your drive and your willingness to go out and get it. That's all I had for you guys tonight. It was a pleasure as always, and you have a wonderful evening.